You think you're smarter than him. You think you're going to be the one that's going to get him to confess.
Well, I don't think I'm smarter, sir. I don't think you necessarily have to be smarter.
I'm super excited about this movie. I know that not everyone is a true crime aficionado, like some people, you know, but when we talk about serial killers, Bundy comes immediately to mind. And not only that, but he comes kind of in a structured way. You know, we know how he looks, how he talks, how he kind of moves. So we kind of know everything that is to know about him. But then No Man of God comes and you guys put all this information that we get bombarded with in a different shape, you know. And of course, I cannot speak enough about how I love the way, Amber, that you place the female background characters in the shot. And, you know, we're always getting reminded of the victims. I mean, that was brilliant. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that. How did you face this challenging character that is Ted Bundy in a world that, you know, we are so familiar with this person?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it was interesting. I approached the film, as you said, you know, not an aficionado of the genre or even of Bundy. You know, I felt really very much like an outsider to the genre and to the story. You know, obviously I knew who Bundy was and I'd seen some of the films that had been made about him, but I was certainly not like a true crime fan. I'm a pretty scare easily type of person, so I don't watch that kind of stuff ordinarily. But I thought that was actually for me an interesting way in. I was sort of like, well, as an outsider, you know, I do have this particular perspective, you know, that is different from, say, somebody who always directs films about serial killers or really is a big fan of the genre. So I tried to bring that outside perspective in, and part of that was what you had talked about was, for me, you know, I feel like I can never think about Bundy or talk about Bundy or even look at him without thinking about the lives that were cut short because of what he did. And so for me, that's what I tried to do, was bring in, you know, the victims without making it saccharine and without, you know, it certainly, it wasn't a story about the victims, but I felt like there should be a constant reminder of that this isn't just his story, it's also their story. And it's also Bill's story. You know, Bill to me is actually really more of the lead character because, you know, in the same way I think you said earlier, we know everything about Bundy. And I don't know that that's really true. I mean, I think everybody comes to any story or any person or character with their own set of expectations and perspective based on their own lived experiences, you know. So all I could do was sort of approach it from my lived experience. And that was very much, you know, I, as a woman moving through the world, like I know what it's like to walk down the street and hear footsteps behind me, you know, and get scared, right? I don't think any woman has not experienced that. And so it was that sensibility of being a woman in the world and men like Bundy being something that I'd been told to be scared of in my life. And I'd been told to, you know, protect myself from. And, you know, you get sent to college or university and your mom buys you a mace thing and you're told to hold your keys sticking out of your fingers if you're walking in a parking lot at night, you know, all that stuff. So I just really tried to bring that perspective into it. And then obviously also, you know, researching him and I felt like I just had a different take on him. I see him not as a rock star, you know, model, good looks. I see him as kind of a very insecure, very desperate, really needy guy who just wants everyone to think he's really smart and really charismatic, but he's not actually. He's more how I saw him. So that's the Bundy that Luke and I tried to portray. We did it together, right? It was half me, half those scenes are me, half them are him. Just really good makeup.
I brought the insecure part and needy.
How was for you to get into his mind, but, you know, you were already?
I kind of, you know, I approached it very reluctantly. I sort of just didn't want to go there, you know. a lot of the time, kind of building up to it. And you know, in some ways, it was really just Amber who gave me sort of the room to, and the space and the time to kind of approach it in my own time. Even when we got to set, like we started shooting it, and, you know, the camera was barely even on me. So it sort of felt, I kind of slowly got lured into doing it, which was probably smart because I was being such a baby about not wanting to do all those things. But you know, once we were sort of in the swing of it, and I, you know, felt the joy of being with Elijah in a room and having Amber at the helm, it kind of became fun. As strange as that sounds.
Usually, I think throughout the movie, 90% of the movie, you only see Siga move from the waist up, and you make such incredible movements, and you know, it's so subtle, but we, as I said, it's really scary. So for you, how was on set with Elijah, and you know, having that restriction of movement at the same time that, you know, you had to put everything that the characters go through out?
I think it's, you know, in some ways giving limits helps to build structure in some ways. You know, you can kind of, you can be so freewheeling in this process that you can kind of end up just throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so really, again, it was kind of attributed to Amber's, you know, structuring how we were going to perform it that I think kind of made that work. And really just sort of in terms of like actually being on set with Elijah, it, you know, he's, you know, such a champ and is so focused and so invested in the story that it made it, you know, kind of seamless for me to be there with him. There's so much footage that's available. So, you know, before we went into shooting it, I was able to, you know, do all of that kind of research and kind of think about what attributes I maybe shared with him or what attributes I wanted to kind of add on. And, you know, that's kind of always a fun exercise, having like, you know, real footage of real people gives you a kind of it shortens the bridge in terms of like, you know, how to get to them, because you have these little outside aspects that can kind of help you. So
yeah, I loved I mean, from my perspective, we had two different characters. One before he shaves his head, and the one after he shaves his head. Did you feel that too?
Yeah, you know, there's that thing, that old thing of like there being power in the hair, you know, and sort of stripped bare of it reveals a different, you know, it reveals the kind of deeper, more needy rodent that lives within him. So yeah, I did feel that.
The world needs to know why he killed those girls. You're some hotshot young upstart, and I'm your next big case. You're gonna be the guy who broke me. There are a lot of myths and misunderstandings about me.
What are you going to tell me?
Everything.
Hello, Brazil. And
Hello, Brazil.
come watch No Man of God. Luke is very good in it. Elijah's very good in it.
Very good behind it.
You want? You and I will sit down and have the conversation you've wanted this whole time.
When you get too close to a guy like this, you could lose your way.
Do you think you could kill somebody?
I'm an FBI agent.
That's not what I'm saying.
You can't hold these girls hostage.
I'm not playing games.
How many did you kill?
Let's say 30.
Let's say we talk about the real number.
30 is a nice round number. You're getting inside my head.
I'm looking for understanding.
You think they should kill me, don't you? You think it's my time to die?
Frankly, they probably should have done it a long time ago.
I'm going to take you somewhere that I've never taken anyone before. I need a moment with Bill. He's my best friend.